Life versus ParalyzE.
Live with an interesting map choice for game number 2. He just lost the first map on Habitation Station against ParalyzE. The young Zerg player for Team StarTale does not go for Daedalus, nor does he choose Altazim Stronghold. Both arguably better choices here from an objective point of view.
Oh, definitely.
He's going up against ParalyzE, the Protoss player. And we're not saying that Frost is a bad map by any means, but so far in the new set of maps that we have, Daedalus is the go-to map for Zergs against Protoss, and it caters very well towards lifestyle against Protoss as well. So, very surprising map choice. Even Altazim Stronghold seems to be preferred by most Zerg players over what we see right now. But Life seems to be very confident in his skills on this particular map. Maybe he's not really all that familiar with the new maps, which I personally don't think is the reason, because if you are going into such a match and into such a group, you usually prepare as much as you can, especially since we don't have a veto system.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's lucky with the spawning locations on top of it all, as he's crossed, so it gives him a lot of room to wiggle with. But yeah, it seems really strange. And Life's never really been the type of person to say, like, he's not the type of player who's going to say, oh, I want to win on a legitimate map. I don't want to say I won a best of 3 on Daedalus. Like, there are a few pro gamers, I feel like, in Korea who would say that.
Look at that scout, by the way. Like a boss scouting cross immediately, because he says, like, yep, I just want to know if you're cross.
Yeah.
If you're, like, close, then I'm going to deviate my build, but I want to know if you are actually cross position. So, right now, he's faking Life out, or is at least trying to. There's a gateway started. We do not see a forge. Let's see how much Life is going to commit to this. He's playing this a bit easy. But, you know, the thing is, we see Life now with their hatch first in this game, and on Altazim Stronghold, usually most Zerg players will even go into double hatch before pool just because of how the map works. Life doesn't get faked out here, and I like that. He has two very unique approaches to both maps so far. Habitation Station, you could argue that he fell too much far behind in the Harvester count on the map, which is absolutely true because he didn't do too much damage with the Zerglings, but I feel that the gold base made up for it. Don't necessarily think that he was too far ahead in the game, but he still could make up for the losses that he suffered at the beginning, and it was more of a psychological thing, I feel, for him to really put the pressure on. But right now, completely turn around. 180 degrees for the Zerg player, trying to play a more greedy game. And I'm really curious to see how ParalyzE is going to react to that.
He's actually hidden a probe at the 9 o'clock area of the map, just over at the far left center. And it looks like he's just going to hide that over there and check for the third base timing of Life. To see if he puts it at the base that's in the middle. And if it's not there, of course, he's going to check the more common base up towards the right side of Life's main base. He's also going for a gateway rather than a forge, just like we saw in Game 1. And he's going to get away with that. This probe's still lurking around. I do not think he's going to hide anything here. I really just feel the only thing that's going to be hidden is that probe. And Lyote watches on. It's no secret to him.
Yeah, Lyotes know everything.
We've just been seeing a lot of Lyotes in this map pool, man. I don't know where they came from. They're just all over the place.
My theory is they were always there, and our observer just recently discovered them and is absolutely fascinated.
That's a really good theory. I like your theory. This probe sees exactly what he wants, by the way. He does see that third hatchery. It's exactly what he was waiting for. Sees it right as it started, too, so he knows exactly when it was placed. There's another Lyote. 2 Lyotes hanging out. Wow.
It's a couple.
They look a little bit angry with each other, though, walking in opposite directions.
Well, they're married and they have kids, but they got into a fight just recently because Miss Lyote thinks that Mr. Lyote maybe cheated on her with, like...
the Lyote on the left side of the map? With a tastelope? Oh, God.
Exactly.
Well, so she's going to go... She's texting the Automaton 2000 right now.
Yeah, I heard that Automaton 2000 is currently on the case, and it's just evaluating all the data.
Yeah. Well, this Phoenix opening here for ParalyzE, we'll see how much this gets done. Right now, there's only one Overlord, of course, with cross spawns going to the bottom of the map, and it will be cleaned up. It's already spotted, I think, by the Mothership Core, so he knows just where to find it.
Yeah, the one thing that I know for sure is that after the series, I will go down and ask Life why he didn't choose like one of the other 2 maps that we were mentioning before.
Yeah.
That's such a super interesting choice to me. And well, so far, I mean, he gets the scouting information, he gets his third base, so it's a very passive game for both players. The tech, of course, has been spotted by now, and the Zergling is even running in and just double-checking what exactly is going on the front. A lot of Zerglings coming in, and also the +1 attack upgrade. Yeah. Spore Crawlers, of course, to defend against those, against the units that we see there for ParalyzE, Phoenixes, and you know, with those Lings, he has a lot of damage potential. A third base, for example, is going to be very difficult to take for ParalyzE. Phoenixes don't do all that well against Zerglings.
Yeah, this is true. And he's going to need like a wall set up.
Sees the probe and
that's what Life
it.
does, man. He's just so map aware. If you give Life 10 Zerglings, he's going to find everything. If you give him 5 Zerglings, he's going to find everything. But in 10, he's going to do everything he wants.
Yeah, and well, now we have a Forge going down for the upgrades, but Life already getting a little bit ahead in that regard. 8 minutes, or it's take before 8-minute mark. Got a little bit delayed by that in the last game.
A little bit of harassment going on here.
And this time, I mean, we have him at least with the lair tech at the natural, not at the third base. That really was a bit... I think he just wanted to hide in the main base what was going on and not have all of this take place in one position on the habitation station.
Something else, too, is like it has more hit points, so if he's hit with some crazy all-in timing that ParalyzE tries to follow up with at the gold base, since the gold base is so close to him, maybe it gives him more hit points.
It exposes it so much. Like, lair is, or hive is something you always want to protect. But, well, he lost the game, so let's see if he can at least force game 3 out of his opponent. ParalyzE so far not taking a third base just yet, just gearing up here.
Yeah, he needs to do more damage actually with these Phoenixes. He got some done, but I feel he needs to do a little bit more. He's way down on Harvesters. His third base is so late.
He wants to get a third, I guess, but he's not producing any additional probes. And we don't see him with a lot of units either, so he's just banking a lot of minerals here. Yeah, it's like 1,200.
He's got a ton, actually. I think he might add a bunch of gateways, possibly, and go for an attack.
I'm not quite sure about that, because he's adding now the robotic spay, and he also added the forge a little bit earlier. So what are you going to do from there on? Just get like 2-3 colossi and push out? I don't see that happening, because Life
just so
will
late.
Be ready.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And his cross spawns on Frost, so he has so much time. Life is coming over here and he's like, what is going on with you? He sees no third base, so he just wants to poke at the front and get some information, loses a few Zerglings, starts to Spire.
The Zealot was in a tight spot there.
Oh yeah, he certainly was.
Right in between 4 force fields. Still is. But here comes the move out by ParalyzE, taking that third base, or at least trying to. That's something that Life will spot very soon. The +1 attack, keep that in mind, is done for Life. And we have no upgrades for ParalyzE. Once again, those Lings coming in, trying to force a cancel. Force fields being dropped, but those sentries are starting to run out of energy. And that base, he saves it for now, but Life really aggressively trying to shut that down.
It's so important to note that Life attacked it as soon as it was started at its lowest amount of hit points, and that's why he thought he might be able to get it. Now he knows, because it's built so far up the hit points, he can't actually kill it. He's losing a few drones here. He's going up to 86 Harvesters in total, because he knows that the Protoss is now on the defensive.
And oh my god!
This is a huge mistake.
Oh wow, a Mana Zealot right at the wall, and suddenly Lings in the main base at the natural, and ParalyzE is not happy. We have actually the robotic spay being attacked. ParalyzE realizes it. He's not positioning his Zealots anymore in the front. That Zealot is going to get fired, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, that Zealot is fired, man. It's probably just going to be... If there's any point in time where ParalyzE is supply blocked, he's just going to kill that Zealot so he can make whatever else he wants instead.
Yeah, I mean, Zeratul is going to talk to him and it's like, dude, I'm sorry, but we need to let you go. Like, I know it was an accident, but still, like, there's no way we can keep you after that.
Yeah.
Ah, no spores at this base. Nice find here by ParalyzE. Finds the base, but he's running out of energy on those Phoenixes, so he can't really take as many units down as he wants to.
Well, this switch into Corruptors is spotted now, of course, but not only the Phoenixes, but the Observer. So he's trying to get a few Void Rays out. I don't believe he's added the second Stargate, but that's something he's probably going to consider here.
By the way, with the Zergling run by, it didn't do that much damage. We had the immediate reaction by ParalyzE warping in units and really making sure that he didn't lose too much. Yes, he lost a couple of Harvesters there, but that was more of like a panic moment for him than anything else. A bad waypoint there, on the other hand. A lot of those probes not doing anything at the third
look
base.
At the income. I mean, he's way down on where he should be.
He saw it by now and, yeah, corrected the mistake.
Here we go, though. The Corruptors trying to fight here. He wants to pick off the Colossi and keep the Phoenixes at bay. There's the overcharge going on the Mothership. Life is not really going to be able to get a whole lot done here, though. He just needs to be careful. Yeah,
he's not going to do too much damage. He's pressuring ParalyzE, and I like that, but he's not committing, and I like that even more, because committing right now against this army would be very dangerous for him. He needs a good angle if he really wants to make that work, but ParalyzE is playing this very safe and cautious.
Yep, very safe and cautious. Good force fields going down here. Another Void Ray about to pop out, but it's not ready yet. The Corruptor's actually engaging against that Void Ray. Void Ray targeting well, and Life needs to run away here. He's actually committed way too much. We talked about this. This is very dangerous for him to actually commit to this.
Well, he shut down those Colossi, and that's a bit of a win for him, of course, because now he was shutting out the tech units of his opponent and can move in again. Those sentries do not have energy any longer. So as long as he can maybe even snipe those 2 Void Rays, that would be amazing for him. He's doing a lot of damage on the ground, but he's losing the battle in the air.
Yeah, losing the battle in the air. The Corruptors actually will fall here this time, which means no more answer for those Colossi. The Colossi at the back doing so much. He picks up so many of the Roaches as well to help out. And this attack will be pushed back, but Life has traded pretty decently. He's still on a 4-base economy at 81 Harvesters, so he can remax with the bank that he's building right now.
He only sacrificed, well, he's mostly sacrificed Roaches and Zerglings. A few Corruptors too, but those traded pretty well against the Colossi and everything else. Considering how much time it's going to take for ParalyzE to get the Colossi and his backbone of the army back into the game, it's kind of worth it. But Life really super aggressive here, and with such a style you have to be really careful that you don't run into any kind of counter aggression, and while we're talking about a Warp Prism again. So we don't see that right now for ParalyzE, at least not being used as aggressively as it was in game number 1. But Life has to really make sure that there is not a Warp in at some point that costs him a base, for example.
Yep. Speaking of costing him a base, it's going to cost ParalyzE a base, just having those Roaches there. And even Zergling's coming in at the 3rd base now. ParalyzE starting to fall apart a little bit in this game.
That's Life's style, and that's exactly what he does. Oh, we might even get that Colossus. He's trying to go in. Nice block by those few Stalkers that blinked up on the cliff. But the 3rd is gone, the 4th as well. Life trying to move back again. Has to be careful in case that ParalyzE decides to move across the map now and tries to YOLO it. But for now, Life with really nice aggression there. Protoss player moves out, bam, hits the 3rd and the 4th.
And now Life knows he can be safe against some sort of all-in counterattack because he has Infestors. The Infestors, 7 of them, he even had 8. One of them died just barely to the Phoenix, but with those Corruptors that he's building right now, the Infestors that he has, against an all-in timing where ParalyzE says, oh, I'm so far behind, I have to attack into him right now, he's going to be totally fine. And if ParalyzE doesn't attack, then Life's like, cool, I'm on 4 bases and I got Greater Spire finished with 11 Corruptors to help out against the Colossi, and then I can make more if I want to, and then go into the Broodlords because I have a bank that I'm building right now, 2,000 minerals, 1,400 gas, and ParalyzE is in a really tough spot right now. He needs to do something crazy to get himself back into this one.
Yeah, those Broodlords, as soon as they are in the game, it's going to get very dangerous for him. Corruptors, on the other hand, we need a lot more of those if he wants to fight against his opponent's Void Rays. There are not that many just yet, but we all know how much damage Void Rays can do against Corruptors, so he needs a lot more. He needs to win the numbers game. He should be able to do that, even though he's lacking gas a little bit, but with 4 bases against 2 mining of his opponent, he should be completely fine here.
Fleet Beacon goes down. It looks like Tempests are what he wants here. As far as I can tell, he doesn't have the +1 for air, and Phoenix range is not going to be what he wants against Broodlords and Corruptors, so I think he's just going to get some Tempests out, but he needs a lot more time, and I don't think Life's going to give it to him. He just has already that maxed army. He's still rebuilding a bank. He's got 6 Corruptors support his 9 Broodlords and this ground army with 76 Zerglings. The 7 Infestors are still there.
It's also a question of resources. I do not think that he really has the resources to make that work.
Yeah.
Time is, of course, as you already said, it's a big issue, but the resources themselves are going to be very difficult for him to accumulate too. And those Corruptors are going in right now. The Phoenixes, of course, being their safety guard there. The bodyguards on the ground. And here come those Broodlords. And once again, Lynx at that 4th base. Life is just active everywhere.
Yep, a bit of a miss micro there. Does not want to have Broodlords being shot up by photon cannons, but now starts to move in here. The cannons are gone.
Life getting another base on top of things as well. Getting another base to the left side of the map. His 5th by now. Here come those Stalkers, and where are the Fungals? Not there just yet. He's trying to hit one and misses it. Time Warp goes down. Life getting into position, especially the Broodlords. Doing a lot of damage here. That Nexus is still alive, but another Zergling run by towards the 4th.
And there's a good fungal on those Void Rays, meaning they can't chase. He's just going to try to chain that. Really good shots here at the back of the Broodlords. He also gets that Mothership Core. It looks like it's going to fall down, and Time Warp really hurting those Infestors, but they're starting to close the gap, and there's just way too much DPS here. Tempest at the back, awkwardly trying to participate. He's got some Phoenixes coming back as well. And maybe with the Void Rays here, he could push his way through, but I just don't think so.
Well, he could, but the bank is way too big for Life. He can transition out of this if he wants to. Where are all those Corruptors that he needs right now? We still have a few Void Rays, and the Stalkers are blinking forward, trying to just zone them out. At the same time, the first Tempest is trying to accomplish something, doing a bit of damage to the Broodlords, but we have now Ultralisk suddenly joining the battle as well. So Life really just utilizing the big strength of Zerg here and switching from one tech into another. Dropped to 0 APM there for a second, maybe suppressing a yawn, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe just thinking his opponent was going to type out because he has 5 Ultras on the way, as you said. He's going to have 2/2/2 upgrades in just a second. And these Tempests can do all they want to the Broodlords. He doesn't care because it's 2 base. against now 5 base for life. And he's just rebuilding his bank again.
Yeah.
He has the best possible composition. He's getting gases up now at this expansion, and I can't see any way ParalyzE comes back. We're going to have to see a game 3.
Yeah, we have 37 army supply against 114. That alone already tells the story, but Life is also nearly maxed out in total supply, has 80 lava on the map, and his income is nearing 2,000 minerals per minute, and of course the gas to go with that. With all those additional corruptors that we now see in the game, the few air units or anti-air units that his opponent has are just not enough. So
even
ParalyzE
Vipers
in a big problem here. Life making Frost work in his favor.
Yeah. I mean, just the way he's controlled the map with his Zerglings and the constant run-bys and the pressure just goes to show that he's really confident on this map. He's really comfortable here.
You're shutting down the 4th and the 3rd every time he could. Every time we saw Zerglings running in, just going for a very mobile style here.
And the zoning with his Brewlords, when he did decide to engage that, having the Infestors raid the support, he knows exactly how to play it. And Chitin is plating in 3-3 for his Ultras, so now on the way. Here we go.
Nothing to count Ultralisks. There's
No way.
nothing there. The 6 Stalkers are not going to be enough. But all the Corruptors, they are going to take care of those Colossi. We have 1 Archon at the front. There are no Immortals. There's no double.
Is even looking to fall.
Yeah, there's no double robotics, and there's just no way to defend this base. Here come the Yanks. There are no High Templars for feedbacks. This is GG. Life takes it. Tells and shows everybody that he doesn't need Daedalus to win against Protoss.
Yeah, he's actually the first Zerg player to not pick Daedalus in all of our Protoss vs. Zergs. Every other one has had 1 map of Daedalus, and now if ParalyzE picks Daedalus right now, then something has changed in the past few days, and the map is different than we thought. Maybe that's why Life didn't pick it. ParalyzE picks it. We have to figure out what's going on. Maybe it was a broken Protoss strategy. I doubt it, though.
Well, Ruin showed us 1, maybe ParalyzE has another.
I think we might see Yunsu as the map pick here for ParalyzE. Just, it's a comfortable map to play on. It's a 1v1 map. No worries about spawning locations. What's it going to be, ParalyzE? Heavy Rain. Interesting choice. Not a bad map for Protoss vs. Zerg.
Yeah, kind of the go-to map for Protoss versus Terran these days with the Blink Stalker build that he can execute there. Right now we have a Protoss versus Zerg on the other hand, and this is game 3. Life versus ParalyzE, and all the Aphrotos. What can he bring to the table now that he lost map number 2? Will Heavy Rain be the map where he triumphs over the Startail player, or is Life going to win 2 in a row now and takes down the Protoss opponent in the round 1, the best of 3 here at the GSL Code A, and really advance to the winners match? We're going to find out right now. Jumping into Heavy Rain here at the GSL Code A, Startail Life going up against SK Telecom T1's ParalyzE. Brought to you by Colin Wolf.